This is Gregory Clark, Hill Street, Grand Oaks, and this is The Five. Before we begin this week's show, I wanted to say that I was informed by an associate of how popular we've become. She suggested that I might give thanks to my fans for their affection. In line with some helpful suggestions from the powers that be, I have made some changes to the format. You may not notice a thing, most likely. Ever improving. Here's how we will do things. Segment 1 is where I will reveal the answer to last week's quiz. Segment 2 is where I will announce the winner of last week's quiz. Segment 3 is where I will give the questions for this week's quiz. And segment 4 is where I will sign off, as they used to say. Clear? And so we begin. The Five. As you may remember, the category for last week's quiz was classic literature. Very, very grateful for the suggestions, guidance, advice, and overall support of the powers that be for this category and past categories and future categories. I wouldn't exist without you. Classic literature. And the answers are as follows. Segment 1, last week's answers. Question number 1 was the Danish author Hans Christian Andersen, and the answer is bronze. The Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen dedicated to Hans Christian Andersen is composed of bronze. 1 bonus point if you know that bronze was an alloy consisting of copper and tin. An additional point if you knew that other elements such as phosphorus, aluminum also might be added. Question number 2 is on Shakespeare, and the answer is 2,156. The number of lines in all of Shakespeare's sonnets are 2,156. 14 lines per sonnet times 154 sonnets, 2,156. A bonus point if you know the first line of any of the sonnets. Question number 3 was on Dante, and the answer is concentric. The geometric term for Dante's version of hell in the first volume of his Divine Comedy, The Inferno, is concentric. Bonus point if you know where the Inferno is set. Another bonus point if you know why it matters, what it signifies. Question number 4 was on James Joyce, and the answer is Eumaeus. The antepenultimate episode of James Joyce, Ulysses, is Eumaeus. Question number 5 was on Molière, and the answer is La Mêlée Imaginaire. The title of Molière's last work for the stage is La Mêlée Imaginaire. The imaginary invalid and hypochondriac are not acceptable because of etc., etc., etc. Segment 2, last week's winner. Among the 213 entries received, there was no contestant who answered every question correctly. So, the winner is the person with the most correct answers, and that was Wanda Young of Huntburg, who answered 1 correctly. Congratulations to Wanda. Your prize is my congratulations, which you have already received. Segment 3, this week's quiz. After much deliberation, the category for this week's quiz is events of the last decade. These may or may not be in chronological following our off-air discussion I mentioned earlier in that episode. The questions will be in a multiple choice format. Answers may be submitted to gclark@omniglomail.qui. Question number 1 is on television. What was the title of the last program to appear on television, broadcast, cable, or otherwise? Was it A, Light in the Tunnel, B, The Deborah Hudson Show, C, The Distancing Effect? Question number 2 is on foreign countries. Following North America's adoption of the Compulsory Broadcast Act 9 years ago, which was the first European country to adopt a similar program, l'Acte de Diffusion Obligataire, was it A, Spain, B, Germany, or C, France? I will remind you that the name of that program is L'Acte Diffusion Obligatoire. Question number 4 is on science and technology. Miravision, a division of Cyberotics Corporation, is most famous for what world-changing development? Is it A, Android development, B, two-way monitors, or C, virtual space travel? Question number 5 is on government. Omni Global Corp is known as the unofficial fourth branch of the U.S. government. Name one of the original 3 branches of the U.S. government. Question number 3. Question number 3 is on art. Before the disappearance 3 years ago, the Artists' Unity Enclave was located in what former state? Was it A, New Mexico, B, Nevada, or C, New Mexico? This is Gregory Clark signing off.